It's great to see you. Welcome to the CIA, and welcome to the kickoff of Hudson Valley Restaurant Week. I'm Tim Ryan. I'm the president of the Institute, and we're thrilled to have you all here. So the CIA is a proud sponsor of Hudson Valley Restaurant Week, and this is the second year we've hosted the press conference and also the kickoff event, which will start at 5:30 in our Caterina de Medici restaurant. Hudson Valley Restaurant Week features more than 170 restaurants across 7 counties. And so many of the chefs in those counties and in those restaurants, we're proud to say, hail from the CIA or CIA graduates. And I think everybody here will agree readily that we have an unbelievably vibrant restaurant scene in the Hudson Valley, and it gets stronger and more creative and more vibrant every year, and we're very excited about that. Restaurants are a very important economic factor in any economy. You could say that they're the economic background of the nation and of our region. And some people say, well, economic backbone. Wow, that's a pretty bold statement. But just on the facts alone, the restaurant industry, the food industry, is the second largest private employer in the entire nation. The second largest private employer. Up until 3 years ago, we were, of course, nobody can beat the federal government. That's the largest employer. Up until 3 years ago, the food service restaurant industry was the largest private employer in the nation. Now, who do you think is overtook the restaurant business in terms of being the largest employer? I have any guess? This is a very smart crowd.
Healthcare.
If everybody could just say something at the same time, on the count of 3, we'll see how that works. 1, 2, 3. Let's try it one at a time. Who has an idea? Who might it be? Who overtook food? Peter Kelly?
Healthcare.
It's the healthcare industry. The healthcare industry overtook us, and I'm not sure that that's the position. No offense to Sam Simon and anybody else from the medical community, but I'm not sure that's the position that we want to be in. Nonetheless, the restaurant industry is the second largest private employer in the nation, and FYI, we don't send any tax dollars to subsidize the restaurant industry. So that's a good thing. If the restaurant industry in America were a separate economy, it would be the 10th largest economy in the world. That's unbelievable. The 10th largest economy in the world. So are the restaurant sales and the power of the restaurant industry in the United States. Restaurants contribute to a wide variety of components in our local economy. And restaurant sales, in fact, in Dutchess County, I don't have the stats for the entirety of the Hudson Valley, but just in Dutchess County alone, restaurant sales are about up to $120 million per annum, and that's extraordinary. Beyond that, restaurants have what's known by economists as a multiplier effect. So as you have a vibrant restaurant scene and restaurant economy, you're attracting other people to the area. It's desirable to live, and that helps to fuel the local economy. And restaurants are also great supporters and consumers of agricultural products, and they help to promote and drive tourism and lodging and overall economic development in general. So therefore, backbone of the economy nationally and locally. Here at the CIA, being even more specific about economic support and impact, we spend currently more than $1 million just on local foods and products that are grown or produced right here in the Hudson Valley. We support 30 different farms from our very own community, not only because that's the right thing to do, but it's a good thing to do. By doing so, we seek to inspire future generations of our students here, the future chefs who train at the CIA, to do the same when they graduate from the college. And again, that's something that's good for everyone. Also, more than 250,000 visitors come each year here to visit the CIA campus. I believe that makes us one of the largest tourist destinations in the valley, and that's a good thing. But events like Hudson Valley Restaurant Week drive consumers and visitors into everyone's restaurants, from Westchester all the way through Dutchess and Ulster counties, and that's a very, very good thing. Now, for those of you who haven't visited the campus recently, just Friday, we opened a brand new restaurant. I understand a bunch of you got to see the new Bocuse restaurant, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And that was an exciting event. We had, of course, the legendary chef Paul Bocuse came from Lyon, France, to be here at the opening. Chef Bocuse is the most important chef in history, and that's a big statement, but it's true. This is the man who did more for the profession than anyone that came before him. He's 87 years old, and he's not been feeling well lately. He was in the hospital, but he said, I have to be there for the opening of this restaurant at the CIA. Of course, Paul's son Jerome is a graduate of the Institute, and so he was here. And it was really a spectacular day. Some of the greatest chefs in the country and the world, in fact, were here. Thomas Keller, Jean-Georges Van der Richten, Daniel Boulou, the list went on and on. Media representatives from all over the nation. In fact, the first New York Times article already came out today. That's the third one they've done just about the restaurant opening, and they have another couple articles that are going to focus on the opening of the Bocuse. USA Today, People Magazine was here, Tipsy Journal was here, and so we were very well represented. And that's a good thing too. When we are able to do something proudly like open the Bocuse restaurant here that gets national and worldwide attention. It's already been written up in London and in France and so on. That draws attention to the Hudson Valley and to the caliber of restaurants that we have here, which makes people want to come to the Hudson Valley, and they'll certainly dine at the CIA. They'll dine in a variety of other of the wonderful restaurants that we have in our location. So it's all good. So I'm glad that many of you got to see the new Bocuse restaurant. It's very exciting, and we hope you'll come back and dine there often. While I'm talking about the Bocuse restaurant, I just want to I know there's a couple very important presentations to two good friends in a few minutes, and we'll get to that in a second. But I want to make a little presentation. Speaking of Bocuse restaurant, my co-chair for Hudson Valley Restaurant Week is Peter Kelly, who's an excellent chef in his own right. And so if I could ask Peter to come up here. I'm not going to ask Peter to speak right now. Last time he followed me, he told a very dirty joke.
Irish up here right now.
And Peter, what I want to give you is, of course, Chef Bocuse is legendary for many things, but one of his masterpieces, one of his greatest creations, is a truffle soup. It's a consommé in a special cup that has lion's heads on the sides, and it's got truffles and foie gras in it. And he did something very, very clever. And, he invented this in 1975 on the occasion of the French president, Valéry Giscard d'Estaing, had him come to the Élysée Palace and made him a knight of the French Republic. And so in honor of that occasion, Bocuse invents the greatest soup of all time, this truffle soup with foie gras, this really cool dish. And he does a neat thing, he tops it with puff pastry. And I was just talking to him about it the other day, and I said, Paul, and the puff pastry puffs up in this golden dome. And then you break through the dome, and the perfume of these truffles are trapped inside, and they come out. It's like one of those things that, you have a really, really great idea when everybody looks at it and says, why didn't I think of that? It was right there. Why didn't I think of that? And so I asked Paul just on Friday, I said, Paul, it's such a cool thing, how did you come up with it? He says, nothing's new, everything's been invented. I was thinking about chicken pot pie. And, I just said, well, how can I do something that was really, I said, come on, you weren't thinking of chicken pot pie. He goes, no, really, you put chicken pot pie on it. And I just used puff pastry. And here, and this is kind of their mission, he was surprised by the fact that, a chicken pot pie, if you make it at home, it stays flat, right? And he was surprised that the steam pushed the puff pastry up into this golden dome. But his inspiration was chicken pot pie. So I have a replica. It's a ceramic replica of the truffle soup. And so you can see the fancy little dish, and there's a ceramic pastry crust on there. And Peter is not only an excellent chef, but he's quite a historian about all things culinary, and he really knows a lot about chefs. In fact, he knows more about the CIA than most people that work here and talk to him. So Peter, I knew that you would enjoy having one of these truffle soup pots. And thank you so much for all you do for Hudson Valley Restaurant Week.
But the culinary's involvement, and Tim, your involvement, has really changed the face of Hudson Valley Restaurant Week. So I think I speak for everyone in this room and say thank you very much for everything you've done.
Our pleasure. So with that said, I'd like to turn the podium over to Janet Crawshaw, who is the editor of the Valley Table. And Janet is going to tell us more about Restaurant Week in general. Janet.
Thank you very much. First, welcome. I wanted to thank you all for coming to this, the 7th annual Hudson Valley Restaurant Week kickoff. Dr. Ryan, it's only fitting that this celebration of great food and the great chefs of the Hudson Valley be right here at the Culinary Institute of America, overlooking the beautiful Hudson River on the campus of this preeminent culinary institution. And I can only second what Peter Kelly just said in that having your involvement in Restaurant Week, hosting the kickoff here, has not only brought so much to Hudson Valley Restaurant Week and sort of elevating its meaning, but as you so perfectly demonstrated in the example of the Bocuse restaurant opening, you're a magnet for the world, to bring the world here to the Hudson Valley. So we're really glad to be a part of it and glad to be here. And for those who got to see the Bocuse restaurant, I actually got to taste one of the dinners this past week, and I can only encourage you to make your reservation as fast as possible. It was truly a meal to remember, and it won't be my last one there, but it certainly will be a memorable one. Thanks. I want to jump ahead to the end, which you all will appreciate, but I just wanted to let you know at the conclusion of the press conference, we will have a photo op with a number of the chefs who are present, with a number of the sponsors who are present, so I want to encourage you to stay and be part of that, or to hook up with a few interviews. And then following that, there will be a tasting and a cocktail reception at the Caterina de Medici, which opens at 5:30. And while they're not in earshot, I want to thank Chef Alberto Benoli and Maitre d' Vincenzo Deloria, and the CIA students who are going to be serving us tonight, because I know we're in for an extraordinary treat, so I want to thank them. But first, a few words about restaurant week, or restaurant work. I want to quote a friend, Francesco Mastaglia, who spent the last 2 years photographing in the Hudson Valley, and a sample of his work is out in the foyer. His photographs capture the soulful essence of the farmers and chefs who are shaping the region. He says, the Hudson Valley has become an epicenter for the local organic, sustainable food movement. With its rich agricultural land, the awareness for sustainable living, and the growing demand for local organic food, the farm-to-table movement has become a way of life in the Hudson Valley. The Hudson Valley has indeed become a food capital. The world is taking notice, in addition to coming for Bocuse. A year ago, the Lonely Planet, the guidebook giant, picked the Hudson Valley as one of the hottest and best value destinations. This year, the Hudson Valley tops the list of National Geographic's top 20 destinations in the world. Food is not only good for the soul, but it's good for business and for tourism. I want to thank ahead of time Hudson Valley Ag Development Corporation for helping me pull together some of these numbers. But just to help give some of the scope of it, there are 65 million eaters within a 5-hour drive in the Hudson Valley. Bring that down to an hour's drive, and we have 23 to 25 million eaters. Just right for Hudson Valley Restaurant Week. There are over 2,500 farms in the 7-county area, generating $221 million in sales annually. That's just in this 7-county area that we're talking about with Restaurant Week. Throughout the Hudson Valley, food and beverage spending averages $423 million a year. And that's, I think, primarily on the tourism side. So you could use HVADC's help in really getting some good, solid, region-wide data. But we get the idea of the size of the market that we have here and the opportunity that we have. From travel and leisure to food and wine to the New Zealand Herald, the Hudson Valley is being recognized as a haven for food lovers. Notable for its artisanal cheeses, its stellar produce and meats, its award-winning wines and spirits, and its top-notch restaurants, which is what Hudson Valley Restaurant Week is all about. It's really extraordinary when you think about how Restaurant Week has evolved here. There are 200 businesses across 7 counties, covering 114 miles, working together to strengthen the Hudson Valley as a food destination. And they do it under the name of Hudson Valley Restaurant Week. First and foremost, there are the restaurants, 175 of them this year, firing up their kitchens to present superb prix-fixe meals at an attractive price point. Many will feature local ingredients. And all the businesses supporting the endeavor. Our founding sponsors, WHUD Radio, who's setting up next door to do some interviews with you all. Millbrook Vineyards, David Bova, I see, is here. M&T Bank, our official bank sponsor. Rob, thanks for making the trip down. And our tourism partners, especially Dutchess and Westchester County. In a few moments, you'll have an opportunity to meet many of the sponsors and to sample their products. This year, Healy Brothers Automotive joins the endeavor. They brought a Ram truck. Did they? Okay. I missed it in the rain. So I encourage you to stop by if you're a fan of the Super Bowl or if you are a fan of farmers. We also welcome Hudson Valley Hospital Center. The hospital is making great strides recognizing the link, between food and health and food and healing. But they really are making a difference and using local product in their hospitals to serve to their patients, and that's really extraordinary. I'd like to take a moment to ask sponsors of Hudson Valley Restaurant Week to stand up and be recognized. So if you're a sponsor of Hudson Valley Restaurant Week, please stand. Thank you for your support. It would not be what it is today without your help, and it's really been extraordinary to see how it's grown. Over the past 7 years, I've had the privilege to work with a super group of advisors in developing Restaurant Week, prominent chefs and leaders. If I could just ask you to stand up so you can be recognized, please stand, advisors. So I was hoping mainly to point you out so that the press would also be able to see who you are and find you later. In our last order of business, there are 2 more people I'd like to recognize. Taking the Restaurant Week message of good food and the importance of farmers and chefs, last year, my partner and husband, Jerry, and I established the Farm to Table Award to honor individuals for their leadership in supporting and promoting sustainable agriculture and for advancing the Hudson Valley's as a premier food region. We'd like to take this opportunity to present this year's award to Dr. Sam Simon of Hudson Valley Fresh and Chef John Novi of the Dupuy Canal House. If I could ask you to join me up here while I wax poetic about you for a minute, please come forward. All right. So, I once interviewed an old dairy farmer who had given up farming, saying, "You can't make money making milk." Sam Simon is proving that wrong. Sam grew up on a dairy farm in Orange County, where he also played soccer with my husband. He kept the farm going even while in medical school. He became an orthopedic surgeon, had successful practice here in Dutchess County, and in retirement came back to dairy farming, taking on Plankenhorn Farm in Pleasant Valley and making it a dairy of distinction. Seeing milk prices, it'd be easy to get discouraged, but Sam had a vision. In 2005, he formed Hudson Valley Fresh, a nonprofit dairy co-op, now with 9 family farm members. They started producing and distributing quality milk, and I underscore quality, adding half and half cream, sour cream, and now the newest yogurt to the mix. The products are sustainably raised, antibiotic and hormone-free, and nutritionally superior. Collectively, the members have kept 5,000 acres of farmland in operation. And most importantly, Hudson Valley Fresh guarantees a price that brings the farmers a sustainable wage. Dare we say they're showing how you can make a profit making milk. And they created a leadership brand with Hudson Valley Fresh. John. In this crowd, John Novi, chef owner of the famed Dupuy Canal House, probably needs no introduction. From that legendary night in 1970 when Craig Claiborne and his culinary compadres discovered the Canal House, and the revered critic bestowed its 4-star rating, to the Times Magazine article that called John the father of new American cooking, crediting him as the Alice Waters before Alice Waters for his early commitment to local farms. We came to know John some 20 years ago, first as an historic preservationist, and secondly, as a chef with a vision. At the time, he was featuring whatever local product he could on his menu, and he was encouraging farmers to expand their repertoire. He was hoping some of them would take up growing local quinoa so that he could use it for his mock caviar, which I happen to love. When we were starting the Valley Table, John was the first chef we turned to, and he gave us tremendous encouragement. Later, as we were interviewing up-and-coming chefs, repeatedly we'd hear they had been inspired and encouraged by John too. Many had come through the Canal House kitchen, many others just turned to him with his advice, which he seemed always gladly to share. John's support of local farms goes beyond the kitchen. He's been instrumental in the development of the Rondout Valley Growers Association. After nearly 40 years, or nearly a 40-year run, John closed the Canal House a year or so ago, and like so many fans, we were very sorry. But knowing John, he's not likely to sit tight in his retirement, and he is back cooking up plans for the Canal House now. So it gives us great pleasure to present both of you with the Valley Table's Farm to Table Award. We don't take our awards around here lightly. It is a small table of locally sourced walnut. It's handcrafted by artisan Jessica Wickham of Beacon. And here are the awards. And the tables, which, they're made without any nails, so we couldn't bring ourselves to put a plaque on it. So you're getting regular wall plaques. But they're great little side tables, and they also double as a great stool.
It's a pleasure to receive this award. I am inspired by the fact that it's also at the CIA, and that our president of the CIA is here. I just want to say that when I opened the Canal House in 1969, it was 2 years before the CIA opened, and I was working in my kitchen with local people who were primarily just interested in a job, but no real touch on cooking. So, and I was a hippie in shorts and sandals, so my main object was to restore this magnificent 1797 stone house, and then to breathe life back into it. It was the only way I knew, and that was food. My parents were in the bakery business, and I was a baker. I also worked in Italy for a year before coming back and opening the Canal House. But 2 years after I opened, when the CIA opened, it became a major pleasure to be able to work with students from the school, and I lined up immediately as an extern instructor. And I must say that over the years I've tried to figure out how many externs I worked with, but I think it's pretty close to about 300. But the inspiration was magnificent, and every year it just got better. Many of the students that I brought in were from different parts of the country, different parts of the world. So they weren't only learning from my experience, I was mostly learning from theirs, which just continued to get more and more interesting. And it made it that much more interesting for me. Working with them, there was always interaction in the kitchen. They were always talking food. And to this day, with externs, that's the same thing that's going on. The conversation is constantly food. And they spend an 18-week with me, so it's just gratifying. Anyway, I won't go any further. It's a pleasure to receive this. I wish Restaurant Week all the luck that we can have as it climbs and gets better and better every year. Thank you, Janet.
Thank you. I'm humbled, and thank you, Janet and Barry and Tim Ryan and everyone here. I accept that award on behalf really of the 9 farms that represent Hudson Valley Fresh. I'd like to share 2 caveats with you so it tells the story. About 10 years ago, Jim Davenport, who's probably the #1 producer of quality milk in the Northeast, and I shared the premium award for Agrimark. And we each got $500. And I said to Bob Stoddard, the president, unfortunately, it cost me $25,000 extra to produce 1.5 million pounds of milk this year from our farm. The $500 was nice, but doesn't pay. I said to Jim, we need to do something else, think out of the box. We need to get paid for what it costs to produce truly quality milk. And that's what the inception of Hudson Valley Fresh. Today, we have grown from 3 farms to now, actually this week we are now 10 farms, 8,000 acres of open space in Dutchess, Columbia, and Ulster County. We are I want to also not forget to thank the CIA, who since our inception have been supportive, have been purchasing our heavy cream, our milk, and chocolate milk for the students. And I believe they really go up in arms if they run out. But the reality is every college in our county exclusively uses Hudson Valley Fresh milk, which is really great for us. But the one caveat, last caveat I want to share with you is Marist College was the last to come on board. And they said we knew it would cost us a few cents more per gallon, but we didn't realize it was going to be 60% more milk. Because the first year Hudson Valley Fresh came to Marist, students drank 60% more milk. Milk's not sexy, but it obviously tastes pretty good, especially the chocolate in the hole. And so that says it all. If it's get it to their lips, we never lose a customer. Thank you.
Really extraordinary, inspirational men. To conclude this afternoon's press conference, I'd like to introduce Marcus Molinaro, Dutchess County Executive.
Thank you very much, and to the honorees, congratulations. And Dr. Simon is absolutely correct. Once you get the milk to your lips, you don't lose a customer. I know he gained 2, and Abigail was born 8 years ago, and Jack 3 years ago, and I'm willing to pay the extra price just to keep them happy. I wanted to offer. Dr. Ryan shared some statistics. One piece of data, though, I do take issue with, and that is that the industry is not subsidized by tax dollars. Have you ever seen the amount of food and drink consumed by politicians? Clearly public subsidy. But I have an unfortunate role of concluding today's press conference, which I recognize I'll be adding more quantity rather than quality to the press conference, and I do stand between all of you and great food. But I do want to offer to you that if in fact the Hudson Valley could be declared, and we're going to declare it the capital of the food industry, if you will, in New York State. I think 2013, after the second inauguration of President Obama, you might suggest, and I think we might claim credit to the Hudson Valley being the food capital of the country. Thanks to Senator Schumer, the Culinary Institute, and so many others. It was, in fact, Dutchess County and Hudson Valley food and beverage highlighted during that great presidential and American ceremony, that inauguration. And for that, we ought to be exceptionally grateful and rightfully proud. In the tourism industry, especially in this county, we often point to those singular institutions of attraction as sort of our premier attractions, if you will, FDR, Vanderbilt, excuse me, the individual campuses such as this one. But the truth of the matter is that countless visitors from all across the globe come to the Hudson River Valley for good food. And each of those who participate in the Hudson Valley Restaurant Week, individually and collectively, are in fact our finest and most sought after tourism destinations. And you come together to build a real mosaic, if you will, of great quality food, drink, and entertainment. And for that, we as a community ought to celebrate well beyond this 1 week throughout the year, the contribution that you make to all of us. Now, I would offer to you, wearing the hat that I wear, you also are among our largest employers. So from our perspective, you, whether farm or table, add to the economic benefit and the economic assets that we celebrate as a region. So clearly we are, in fact, world-class when it comes to what we offer. We are a destination, and I am thrilled to yet again join all of you here in Dutchess County at this great institution in declaring the beginning, if you will, of a Hudson Valley Restaurant Week. We joked earlier that I could perhaps ring this bell, which I'm going to do in just a moment, and declare the Hunger Games open. Patrick, good joke. It worked. I said I'd share credit if it went over well, and if it didn't, I'd take the blame. But what I do want you to know is that from this county's perspective, to all of you who call this county home, who toil in your own businesses and your farms in this community, we are absolutely committed to ensuring that you see greater success and greater prosperity this year, which is why Dutchess County, in partnership with the Industrial Development Agency, has secured and awarded an additional $300,000 in tourism promotion and attraction dollars for Dutchess County and Dutchess County businesses. The effort will be led by our own Director of Tourism and the Tourism Promotion Agency, Mary Kay Verber. Thank you, Mary Kay. So that commitment is all about attracting new faces and new faces to this region, and hopefully they'll stay and visit many of you. Now, beyond that, we also consider tourism an equal partner in economic development. So in Dutchess County, our from our perspective, whether farm or whether direct tourism institutions, we believe that tourism, the Tourism Promotion Agency, isn't a silent partner, but rather an equal partner in the economic development efforts. And that's why, as we begin to restructure our economic development apparatus and create an alliance of sorts, tourism will be an equal partner at the table. And for that, so many of you and so many of our communities will benefit. And with that, I want to acknowledge also with us one individual who snuck in a little bit late. It's a long drive, believe me. I've had to go down to Putnam and Westchester a couple times. And as I used to joke about going to Albany, I was a state assemblyman. The best part of going to Albany? Coming home again. The best part of going to some of my friends in neighboring counties is still coming home again. But joining us is an advocate and a great county executive in her own right, and certainly understands the value of agriculture, the food and beverage industry, and tourism in Putnam County. The county executive, Mary Ellen Odell, is here with us. Thank you for joining us. So to all of you, we join together to celebrate your contribution, to celebrate and support you in greater success, and to really usher in this terrific celebration of the great food and dining and farming industry that makes our community whole and great. And to Dr. Ryan and the Culinary Institute of America, I don't believe in luck, but we are, Dutchess County, damn fortunate to have the CIA called Dutchess County home. It is an institution of great prominence around the globe. And from our perspective, even more than that, an engine of creativity, an engine of economic benefit, and we are grateful for your partnership as well. So with that, I have Dutchess County has declared today and this week Hudson Valley Restaurant Week, and with that, are we doing this together? Am I doing this online? This is what I've been waiting for. Mary Ellen, I know you're envious, but with this, we declare open Hudson Valley Restaurant Week.